What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling? This is Tamika, CEO of Prison Love Mindset. I'm going to come to you with some live videos and just speak from the heart and just really just start talking about, you know, some things that I've been thinking about and, other things dealing with topics that matter, right? So, I don't know, have you guys noticed how we are steadily moving closer to a world where human connection does not matter, right? We're slowly moving into a space where we have the metaverse and we have all these technologies that allow us to do things without really having the human connection. And for those of you who are currently supporting someone who's in prison, you have a snippet of what it feels like not to be able to connect with somebody and what that can do to your mental health, right? So I want to stress and really talk about wealth and what does wealth mean, right? And what they don't talk about when it comes to uh, explaining what it means to be wealthy. And I think it's important. I think it's important to have these conversations, right? So a lot of times when people think about wealth, what do they think about? They think about how much money they're making, how much money's in their bank account, right? But I remember when my husband was locked up, and when I got to a place where I was making more money and I was able to start saving and do better financially, with all the money in my bank account, it didn't change the void or make a difference in the void that I had with the fact that my husband was currently locked up and that my husband was not with me by my side to share in the experiences that I was going through. So, in that moment, did I truly feel wealthy? Right? Do you truly feel wealthy when you can't share that time and share that experience with the one person that you would really want to experience it with? Right? Think about all the people who have money, all the people I think of who just popped in my head, Anthony Bourdain, right? Here's a man who had plenty of money, but yet he committed suicide, right? Think about it. So, what does it really truly mean to be wealthy? And it's scary because we're slowly moving to the point where human connection doesn't matter at all. Human connection is just becoming a thing of the past. Look what happened with COVID, right? With COVID. So we have slowly transitioned to a world where doing Zoom calls is normal. It's a normal thing to be in front of a screen to communicate with somebody, right? That's the normal thing now. So, and think about all the technologies, if you're not paying attention, all the things that they're coming up with that allow us to continue about our daily routine without even seeing somebody. And it's important to remember that we have to maintain and continue to make an effort to maintain our connections with other human beings, with our loved ones, right? And do everything in our power to be able to make that physical contact, having those touch points, right? Because we start to lose sight of our own humanity. It's no different than the president or whoever makes these decisions, whoever makes a decision to drop a bomb on somebody, right? When there's a lack of human connection, it is easier to make decisions that don't employ an emotional connectedness, right? When we start losing that humanity, right? Same thing if you are supporting someone who's in prison, right? If supporting someone who's in prison, other people may look at them as in, they're animals or they're just prisoners, right? They have no rights. Does that make sense? So they've lost a touch of humanity in that aspect because they no longer look at them as human beings. They no longer look at them as a whole person. Look at slavery, 1/5 of a person, right? So when we start to lose that human connection, we lose the emotional tie that we have to one another. So it's important as we move forward in the space, as we move forward into virtual AI and look at how the world's starting to develop, right? And we still have our brothers and sisters who are still in prison, right? Are they going to be moving to a space where it's only going to be video visits and you can no longer go to visit them or touch and see them in person, right? Look at how the world is currently moving. And think about how much worse it'll be for the people who are in prison, right? Who aren't really considered human beings. They aren't treated like human beings, right? So maintaining our relationships. The number one thing that comes to wealth is maintaining your relationships, right? I believe that wealth, number one thing on that list is not money. It's your relationships. Your relationships that you have with people are important. What are you doing to build a stronger connection in your relationship, right? We get so focused and caught up in making money and traveling or doing what all these other things, whatever you say, and we forget to focus on building our relationships, right? Here's the other thing. You can't go far alone, right? You can't go far alone. You can't be successful and do it by yourself, right? It takes a team. It takes a village to raise a child, as they say, right? If you want to be successful in business, right? You will go farther when you have a teammate. You will go farther when you have somebody who's supporting you in your corner, who's there to be your accountability buddy, or whatever it may be, right? So having those relationships in place is important. Having those relationships in place can help you skip some steps. Having a mentor, right? What relationships are you fostering? What relationships are you looking to build and build stronger, right? So that's important. So wealth isn't just about your bank account. It's not just about the number of zeros you have there. Because to be honest, if you really think about it, your relationships can help build those zeros. Your relationships can help build those zeros, right? You need to have relationships in order to get to the place that you're trying to get to. If you're trying to move forward financially, if you're just coming home from prison, right? You need relationships. Those are the people who are going to steer you in the right direction. When you're coming home from prison and you don't know right from wrong, or your moral meter's off, or you don't know what the best decision is for your life, there are going to be people in your life who care about you. They're going to help steer you and guide you in the right direction, saying, if you're unsure because, you've been living in a totally different world, you need to rely on people that you trust. And in order to have people you trust, you need to have built some type of solid relationship before you have come home, right? Before you have come home. So that's important. So building relationships is the single most important thing that is needed for happiness, right? For happiness. So doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how big your house is. Your relationships and the type of connection or the quality of that relationship will determine a significant portion of how happy you are, right? It determines a significant portion of how happy you are. So let's start thinking about our relationships and the types of relationships we have and who we're connected with. Let's start there. Right, let's start thinking about that. Let's start having these conversations. Okay? So what are the most important relationships you currently have in your life? Right? Do you have a relationship with someone that you can trust? So let's start looking into that. Right? Start thinking about it. What are the most important relationships you currently have in your life? And then we can start looking at, are there voids? Do we need to start building and creating new relationships within our life? All right? So start thinking about that. All right. Have an awesome day.